The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by CNN in 24-hour non-stop repetition, because the revolution will not be televised.
Calculated that over the last year, Sanders had only received 10 minutes of airtime across 3 major networks.
The revolution will not be televised.
Know that running as a third party is an impediment, but what would you say is your biggest hurdle that you have to get over? Is it name recognition?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely name recognition.
Alison Hartson is running for the Senate in California with no coverage from corporate media. She's not included in the polls on the race.
While 84-year-old Democrat Dianne Feinstein remains the leader for California's Senate seat.
Alison Hartson, who is a progressive Democrat running in conjunction with brand new Congress and Justice Democrats, and she is challenging one of the most corrupt conservative Democrats in the United States Senate, Dianne Feinstein. So you managed to eclipse her in terms of donations. But even with that being said, even though that clearly by American political standards that should theoretically make you the favorite, there's basically virtually no coverage of your campaign whatsoever. Anytime I see articles referencing her primary challenge with Kevin De Leon as the progressive, no mention of you.
Alison is in a runoff against Feinstein. She's going to beat her. I'm positive she's going to beat her, okay? But we got to get the name recognition built up. You got to tell people about her. Everybody knows about Feinstein, whereas we got to get Alison Hartson out there. So
Alison Hartson is by far the most progressive one in this race. She's taking no corporate PAC money. She's forgetting money out of politics. She's progressive on every issue. For Medicare for all across the board, she's progressive on the issues. But because of that, she's not being included in polling. She's rarely being talked about in news articles, not getting any of the attention that she deserved.
We need you to use word of mouth to talk about these candidates, because there's a lot of people who don't know about them.
guys, there's only one way to prove them wrong. Because they're never, ever going to give anybody credit. Progressives? No way. Look, the reality is that mainstream media has enormous disdain for progressives. No matter what you do, how much money you raise, how many volunteers you have, any other kind of metric, it doesn't matter. They have disdain for you. But when it comes to progressives, stand you. So there's only one way to show, beat them.
To progressives, I have some thoughts about what's been going on with the progressive movement and how much impact we've had and how much we've moved forward. And in 2 words, my message is stay focused. Just because issue by issue the progressive movement is very popular, and just because Americans agree with us, that doesn't mean that we're gonna win. No, we don't know that we're gonna win. If we want to win, we have to work. If we want to win, we have to bust our asses.
I am the only presidential candidate who will tell you a simple truth. And that truth is that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can transform America and make our government start working for working people unless we have a political revolution.
Well, there's a revolution going on in rec rooms, offices, and classrooms around the world. A revolution in which people are taking part, night and day, through a computer network called Internet.
I realized, oh shit, it's happening. It's happening right now. TV's dead. These revolutions are going to start with people watching the internet all over the world, and it's going to be unstoppable.
more electable in a general election, an unabashedly progressive Democrat like Bernie Sanders or a centrist Democrat like Hillary Clinton?
Will you co-sponsor Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill?
Not at this stage.
An unabashedly progressive Democrat like Bernie Sanders?
What's your position on health care?
Single payer, Medicare for all, no debate about it.
A centrist Democrat like Hillary Clinton?
I would like to ask you if you would commit to not taking special interest money.
Dark money in it influencing certain states and thereby certain senatorial votes.
Next question to my left, please. She's answered that question. We're moving on. It's
Unabashedly progressive Democrat like Bernie Sanders?
For those who don't know, I was a national director with Wolfpack to get big money out of politics.
And we are all here today on behalf of the 96% of people in this nation who want our political leaders to reduce the influence of corruption in our elections. From Nevada to Texas to Illinois to Florida, Vermont, New York, people all across this nation who are waiting and watching and listening.
A centrist Democrat like Hillary Clinton.
Joey, I often look to Senator Feinstein for sort of the true north in American politics. People think she's a liberal. She's very centrist in her thinking.
An unabashedly progressive Democrat like Bernie Sanders.
Alison Hartson is running for Senate against Dianne Feinstein, and she's a progressive. She's a big fan of your work, and you've always had the right ideas. So
Feinstein, everybody says no. She's been in politics for half a century. She has all of the establishment locked up. She's going to go to the defense contractors and the healthcare companies and raise all that money. So you can't win.
That's the reason I will win, because people are done with that. We're done. And so as long as we get out there and we vote and help me to get the word out, and let's do this together. This isn't about me, this is about us. All of us have got to come together and show up every single day to make up for the money that she's gonna raise. And that's what we're gonna do.